There's always a bigger fish, and that's exactly what Mob learns in this episode of Mob Psycho 100. Greetings, my friends. It's time for a really super quick review of Mob Psycho 100. I'm very low on time, so I just want to give my quick thoughts on this episode right here, which looks like it's going to be turning into a two-parter story, which is something unique for this season and something that I've been really waiting to see. What's really interesting about this episode is that Mob comes face-to-face with another super-powered psychic who works within the realm of the supernatural, and he ends up being something of a great opponent for him. Not maybe super physically powerful in any sense, but he has the mental capacity to really get into Shigeo's head, which makes this a truly interesting episode, which the overall premise itself boils down to Mob and Reagan going out to this mysterious mansion where they come across all of these psychics which have been hired by this rich guy to try and get this like weird demon out of his daughter. Basically, it's like an exorcism, except that it's over the top and filled with a lot of really goofy looking anime characters. And that's one of the fun things about this episode, is getting to see how all of these various psychics operate. There's a little montage sequence which is absolutely hilarious. I mean, look at some of these guys and just try not to laugh. I mean, what the fuck is this guy doing? Why is he licking this ball? How is that going to end up saving this girl? It's not until Reagan actually decides to talk to her that he realizes that something's not quite right with this girl, and that's when he realizes that not only is she possessed, but she's actually been possessed by this super-powered psychic who's been around for years, and he has the ability to not only attack people physically as well as other psychics, but he's able to have a battle of the minds with Mob, which is unlike anything that we've seen from the series, which for a show about psychics actually does kind of make sense, where they actually do battle within their very own mind in this giant white void, and it's just a spectacle to say the least. What I love about it is just how over the top and violent it gets, like with Mob actually like tearing this guy apart with his arms and limbs just getting completely shredded, and then eventually there's the big twist ending where apparently this psychic has the ability to get into Mob's head and put him in this parallel universe where he never actually has any psychic powers and he gets to live as a normal high school student, something that he's always wanted, except now it's something that's actually being forced upon him. Whether he actually knows he's truly in this world or not is kind of hard to say, but it's an interesting twist. So, what's the rundown on this episode of Mob Psycho 100? I really liked this one, and I'm glad that it's going to be going into a two-parter episode. One of the most fun things about this episode is simply just the designs of all the ridiculous psychics that you see in this episode. Some of them are very goofy, and we even get to see the return of Shinra Banshamaru, which is really awesome. And he basically still continues to do his signature attack of throwing beads and getting his ass completely handed to him. One of the more interesting aspects of this episode is that apparently this evil psychic actually has a connection with Dimple, of all people. In the past, Dimple was actually attacked by this psychic and nearly had his entire being absorbed by him. Not only does this guy actually exorcise demons, but he actually wants to capture them. Almost like Pokemon, in a sense. Luckily, Dimple was able to escape, and you can tell that's why he was so freaked out during the course of this episode, knowing how powerful this true character is. Something that's also really good is that they finally start to delve into what it truly means to be a powerful psychic, and how this correlates to Mob's emotions. Emotions are truly what bring out the true power of a psychic, and negative emotions can be incredibly destructive. That's why every single time Mob loses control of something, it's his negative emotions which are actually powering him up to a crazy amount. Whether it's him being angry, sad, mad, it results in him hitting that 100% mark and going absolutely insane. And it practically happened in this episode, but for him to come face to face with a psychic who can actually like take him one-on-one is a pretty big deal for the show. It is also worth mentioning that one of the side characters who appears in this episode is a former member of Claw. I don't know if that's going to lead to anything in particular, but I have a feeling that that character is going to witness all of these events, return to Claw, and tell them that Mob's still around, he's still powerful, and he could cause a lot of trouble for people. It's just a quick little theory on my part, but honestly, that's just my thoughts on the episode. Like I said, I wish I had more time to talk about it. What I will say is this was another great episode of the series, very high on the action and the atmosphere, and of course the goofy expressions. It was a really great looking episode from a production standpoint, and the end of the episode had a really great twist, which has got me excited for the next part of the story. I'm dropping a 4 out of 5 on this one right here. You guys need to check it out, and I would love to hear your thoughts about it. You can tell me all of them in the comment section below, and what you hope to see from the rest of Mob Psycho 100. Thank you all for watching this review. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay Damn there, baby.